Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas visits King Abdullah of Jordan, who warns that the war in Gaza is threatening regional peace.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says the third year of war will be decisive in Ukraine's victory.
Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas met with Jordan's King Abdullah II in Amman on Sunday. Abdullah promised him that Jordan would send more aid to Gaza, where most people are now both homeless and malnourished. Abbas doesn't have any authority over Gaza and isn't a member of Hamas, which rules the enclave. Israel's assault on Gaza has forced 80% of the 2.3 million people to flee their homes. About 1.4 million of them are now crowded into the southern city of Rafah on the border with Egypt, which Israel is planning to imminently attack. Across Gaza, malnutrition is worsening. Without enough food aid being allowed in by the Israelis, many families are resorting to eating mallow, a type of weed, which has little nutritional value, but does manage to grow more easily in the dry soil. UNRWA has tweeted a warning saying shelters in the besieged coastal enclave are severely overcrowded, clean water is scarce, solid waste is accumulating, spread of diseases is on the rise. The war has also devastated Gaza's health sector. Less than half of the hospitals even partially function. At the Emirates Hospital in Rafah, at least 2 newborns are placed in each of its 20 incubators, which are designed for just one baby.
Tens of thousands of Brazilians poured into the streets of Sao Paulo on Sunday as ex-president Jair Bolsonaro hid out at an election ban that has barred him from seeking office for 8 years. He claims he has been a victim of political persecution since leaving office just over a year ago. He told thousands of supporters that coup allegations against him were a lie. Police are investigating whether Bolsonaro incited a failed coup after losing the 2022 election.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said at a conference on Sunday that the third year of war between Russia and Ukraine would be decisive for Ukraine's victory.
Чи Україна програє в цій війні? Я впевнений, що ні. Найважче було 2 роки тому. Принаймні, у нас немає тієї альтернативи. Не перемогти. Немає можливості програти, тому що таке Україна програє? Програє, нас не буде нашого існування.
He made his comments as dozens of buildings were damaged in the city of Kostyantynivka on Sunday, where at least one person was injured, according to Ukrainian officials. Rocket strikes pummeled Ukraine's south and east all day, as officials reported that at least 2 people were killed. The Kremlin-appointed chief posted footage from Avdiivka indicating that Russian forces have taken the city, which marks their biggest battlefield victory since the fight for Bakhmut. More than 30,000 people were reported missing in Ukraine in the last 24 months, according to the Ukrainian National Police Service. Irina Reva is one of them. She lost track of her 25-year-old son Vladislav 19 months ago when he disappeared in battle. She says she will not give up hope of finding him alive and will do whatever it takes to find him.
По сьогоднішній же день я шукаю свого сина. Я все-таки вірю, хоч 1% буде, що він живий. Поки жива, я буду його чекати, шукати. І я з цим покамусь не можу змиритися. Він для мене живий.
Tatiana's husband, Ola, disappeared in the summer of 2022 after he was detained by Russian military officials.
36 років. От просто людина поруч. А тепер немає. Це як без руки, без ноги, я не знаю. Це важко.
Providing a DNA sample is one of the first steps required by the Ukrainian police when families seek to track down missing people. More than 18,000 DNA samples have been processed since the start of the war.
On the second anniversary of Russia's invasion, Ukrainian authorities are desperate for additional soldiers, but recruitment centers are empty. Last summer's failed counter-offensive combined with stalled Western aid has put the Ukrainian military on a defensive, and now the army is carrying out forced recruitment. Tens of thousands of eligible Ukrainian men are estimated to be evading the draft at home or abroad.
Перед нами стоїть задача звільнити всю Україну, включно з Донбасом, з Кримом, вийти на кордони 91-го року. Задача амбітна і, на жаль, без додаткової мобілізації, без нових побратимів ми не справимося.
The parliament is considering a legislation that would enable the military to draft more men so that those already enlisted can get more rest.
Дуже погано, тому що люди завжди втрачають своїх рідних, а це дуже плачевно. Ну, такого не має бути, тому що примусово мобілізувати людей це не окей.
On the other hand, motivation is higher amongst some young people in military boarding schools aged 15 and above.
We need to fight together to have freedom and to destroy our enemies, such as Russia. My dream is to become pilot. I think I will fly on F-16. It's very possible.
Under the draft legislation, any individual who fails to respond to call-up notices could potentially have their bank accounts frozen and their ability to travel outside the country restricted. According to US officials, at least 70,000 Ukrainian soldiers have likely died over the past 2 years.
The Carpathian region in western Ukraine is home to a sizable minority of ethnic Hungarians who are very involved with the war effort. One of the largest charities based there said Russia is trying to make life for civilians unbearable by attacking infrastructure even more than military targets.
The Russians are destroying warehouses more than our military bases.
The Family of Christ charity in Uzhgorod provides homemade bulletproof vests for the soldiers, but it helps all parts of society too.
And we was doing ourselves, and you can buy really cheap. When you are prepared for the war, then you have a peace.
In nearby Mukachevo, Igor, a combat medic, is preparing to return to the war after a period of leave. He's seen some of the bloodiest fighting on the Eastern Front, and the only way he can handle it is to stop himself remembering what's happened.
Не ходжу прямо так, от коли йде штурм. Я не ходжу, моя задача, у мене зовсім друга задача. У мене задача організувати евакуацію пораненого, організувати слажену.
Some people feared that in neighbouring Hungary, Prime Minister Viktor Orban's pro-Russian outlook would turn ethnic Hungarians inside Ukraine against their fellow Ukrainians, but that hasn't happened.
A háború második évében fordulni látszik a kocka, és a felmérések is azt mutatják, hogy folyamatosan csökken azok száma, akik bíznak a politikailag megjelölt célok, tehát a 91-es határok az EU és NATO csatlakozás elérésében.
The Carpathian region knows that the ethnic Hungarians living there are firmly on their side, and 40 ethnic Hungarian soldiers have already died fighting against Russia.
Katerina came to Germany 2 years ago following the Russian invasion of Ukraine with her mother. She has now published a children's book in both German and Ukrainian about courage and perseverance. The book was released just before the second anniversary of the Russian invasion of Ukraine.
In das Buch geht es dass man nur sich selber helfen kann, so eine Art Mutmachbuch.
In 2023, the total population of Ukrainian citizens in Germany was estimated at 1.15 million. Like many other Ukrainian refugees in Europe, Katerina and her mother aim to return to Ukraine one day.
Four opposition parties organised a joint anti-government protest in Budapest following a pardon granted by outgoing Orbán ally President Katalin Novak to the deputy head of a children's home convicted of covering up child abuse.
Az elmúlt 14 év Fidesz kormányzásának legnagyobb politikai botránya után vagyunk. Az emberek közül sokan fel vannak háborodva, amit jól mutat a múlt heti óriási tömegtüntetés is. Ennek ellenére az ellenzéki pártok összefogva csupán néhány ezer embert tudtak kivinni a Kossuth térre.
Demonstrators also rallied last week.
Felemelő volt, egy nagyon szép közösségi érzés volt. Én itt vagyok inkább csalódott, hogy a fiatalok sehol nincsenek. Tehát ez elkeserítő egyszerűen.
A total of 9 people spoke at the demonstration.
Polls have opened in Belarus's parliamentary and local elections, but few voters are in any doubt that their authoritarian leader, Alexander Lukashenko, will have rigged the vote in his favour. He's ruled for nearly 3 decades and on Sunday announced that he'll be running for the presidency again next year. The main opposition leader, Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, remains in exile in neighbouring Lithuania after challenging Lukashenko in the 2020 presidential election, and she's urged voters to boycott these elections.